No, birch.
His face is toward the wall, by the way the sound comes to me.
Yes.
The tide's 3/4 out by the clanking of the chain where the boat's tethered. Murillo and the others are holding some kind of conference in his room. One of the women's crying. Out on the Gulf, a government cutter's heading this way. No, it may be a fisherman, but a Chrysler engine too new for a fisherman. A mother porpoise blew at the wharf a moment ago, and the cap came up after her. The eyes can only look one way at a time, but the ears reach out in every direction. It makes for a full world. Do you love him still?
Yes, but he must never know it.
When you love, is it better the man should die and keep his faith, or lose his faith and live?
I can't answer that.
Can you wish him dead, only nobly dead?
Why do you ask me?
Because I don't know. I've thought so long about it. I don't know. Because I lost my eyes fighting against Rivera in our Spain. And now Rivera's dead and I'm alive. Only another and worse dictator rules in Spain. And our Victor's bed stands empty. And we've lost. And we're here alone.
Father!
What do you see?
A man.
You're sure it's a man?
Yes, but bent over, bent completely double and without a sound. I can't be sure now that I saw him.
Don't be frightened, Allegra. He'll appear soon. And no doubt he's wearing Victor's old slacks. It's the two Seminoles that you befriended.
How can you know?
An Indian walks that way. Nobody else. Come in.
I'm sorry to disturb you.
Come in if you wish.
We'll stand here out of the light. It is not good manners to say your thank you and ask another favor all in one breath. We're thankful for the clothes and they've saved our lives, but we must get off Key Largo or our lives aren't worth much. There's an old boat in the inlet beyond the beach and it's probably yours. We've caulked it with Spanish moss and we think it may hold water as far as the Everglades.
Take it, man. It's yours. We'd forgotten it was there.
But you have no oars.
There it is again. If we had a knife, we'd soon have oars. I hope that's the end of it.
There was one here. These are all unused things, and it's better that you should have them.
Before we go, we floated the body that went down the tide 2 hours ago. It would have missed the bar, but we swam after it and shoved it up by hand where the flashing light shows off the reef. It will be seen by the fishermen.
Now it's my turn to wonder how I'll thank you. This may save us. Is there anything else?
Nothing. We'll have to start. The night's not long enough.
There's a boat with a flashlight playing on the house. You better wait till it's gone by. Sit down.
Thank you. We'll wait.
Someone's rowing west along the quay. It's not a stroke, I know. Whoever it is, he's not coming here.
How's in Oklahoma? There are 10,000 Seminoles cooped up on a reservation. It was Andrew Jackson moved them there, those he could get his hands on. I was born there. I taught there 20 years in the Indian schools until my wife died, and my boy was a man grown. But all my life I wanted to join the poisonous remnant of our tribe in the Everglades that Jackson couldn't catch and had to leave here. The Oklahoma Indians sit and they look at the reservation fence, take their handouts from the government, and die out. Like the buffalo. Good riddance to an obsolete animal. There are too many men, even when they're white, and the Indians just too much. Feed him, goddamn him, and let him die. We left to find our brothers here in the Everglades and shake the Indian office. All my life I've taken charity. I've seen my race take charity from a race it hates. A race that hates it. I named my boy Osceola because Osceola struck back in his way. The only way he knew it couldn't be conquered. And left his sons here in the Florida swamps unconquered. They live badly here, no doubt, but they live as they please. Tell them, Osceola, what is it to be an Indian?
It is to be a dead man, bereft among the living. It is to be a ghost, bred in a tribe of ghosts that haunts its murderers. It's to be a symbol of all lost causes and how soon they're forgotten. It's to be what I am.
But why were you on the roads? What do they have against you?
We were out of money. They picked us up as Negro vagrants and put us to work in the gang.
Do you know the Everglades? Is there anyone there you know?
No, but we'll live. We'll live on what there is.
They seem to have broken up their conference, and some of the gamblers are headed this way.
We'll start tonight. Good night, and I won't try to thank you.
We're even with our thanks. Good night.
Good night.
The Everglades. Yes. Now I know who I am.
You were dreaming, sir?
Yes. As the rat tail end of a long dream, just slipping over the lip into that grand, grand canyon where we lose what we don't remember. Only in my dream, I dreamed there was an Indian running away to the poisonous Everglades so he could be free there. But in my dream, I knew this Indian was myself. And when you think of it, the Everglades are exactly what a man wants. If ever there was a refuge where they can't find you, there's always something to eat and it never freezes. And the wild white birds nest silently unobserved 10,000 years. It's the Everglades. That's the end of dreaming. That's our home.
Only it happens there was an Indian here who was escaping into the Everglades.
Then it wasn't a dream. But in the dream, Aledme became the Everglades. And I came south to find her nesting silently with those wild white birds. But there were no oars. The one night was one that once was victors, and they cut me off.
Get out of here.
They're here.
Well, this is a delegation, the Free Rat.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, excuse me, I've lost my right to insult his underlings now that I've been insulted by the satrap, taken his money and done his work for him. No, I'm referring to the human race in general as rats. Remembering the research fellow in the laboratory who tested the rat brain. Remember him? He put a rat in a cage with little doors that didn't go anywhere, except for one that had a circle on it. Behind that door there was food. And so the rat learned that if he jumped at this door with a circle on it, he could eat. And no other door would do. And he jumped at that without a mistake for a year and ate, by God. But then the experimenter fixed that door so it wouldn't open. And the rat jumped and banged his head and jumped again till he was bloody around the top and sick. And when there was never anything to eat and the circle was always wrong, he lost his mind. His poor rat mind. Because it was just beyond him, you see. The circle should be right, always had been right. There should be something to eat, and it wasn't there. So we went mad. All up and down the room, white rats in cages, butting the wrong doors and bleeding at the ears and going mad. Because the problem set baffled the small rat brain. After that, they ran in circles, bit themselves, and were quiet. And then men did what they pleased with them. They'd had enough.
We came about the new rules.
What rules?
The rules here from now on. He's got them down there. Corky's got them.
Yeah, nobody's to leave the house without permission.
Tonight?
From now on.
and after sunset. Nobody leaves the house without permission.
Permission from whom?
The boss, Murillo.
Curfew.
Yeah, that's what it amounts to, curfew.
Curfew and concentration. But let's review these rules for a minute. Maybe they're not feasible. Suppose the commissary wanted to send out to get supplies.
Well, then you make a list, and we do the buying.
I'm to make a list?
And we do the buying and all that.
And one more thing.
Yeah, and one more thing. The boss, he likes the accommodations in the house. So from now on, the boss will sleep and eat in the house, and the stranger will sleep in the cabins.
You'll run out of doors, you know. And those with a limited intelligence never see more than 2 or 3 doors, and those shut up on them young. You jumped at the door with a girl, and that's a little stale. That's no answer. Now you're jumping at the easy money, the dollar sign. You live by that. But when the author of that experiment nails that door shut, and you jump and break your head, and jump again with blood in your eyes, and end up breaking rock, then all doors are shut for you. Then they're made of steel, and there's no use jumping. Then you're just a little bit sick, and they bring you your beans, and nothing much matters.
What are you trying to do? You trying to make us jury the way you are?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Go count your own beans. There's nothing biting us. We're working perfectly legal and straightforward. Go back and serve your time if you've been tech and get it over.
It must be pretty obvious if a hunk of beef can look and put his finger on it. Look, about those rats, size doesn't count, understand? Big and small, it gets them all.
We'll see about that. We'll see if size counts. All right, that's it. That's all. We're going.
Will you take back a word from me for the man you call Murillo?
That's his name.
It's also what you call him.
There's no need for any word back.
But tell him, if you will, that his conditions are acceptable, and we make no objection except to the last. The stranger, as you call him, will continue to eat and sleep here. The man Murillo will remain where he is.
You tell him that, not me. What he says goes.
But take the message.
Hell, I can tell him what he said, but take it from me. He does what he wants.
I leave you that illusion, and he may keep it too. Good night.
What must I do now?
Sleep in your bed, because it's
But you
yours.
see what you've done.
It was done deliberately.
Yes, you accepted the conditions, only that I'm to eat where he wants to eat and sleep where he wants to sleep.
He won't sleep here.
Don't think I won't stand and do what I can against him. He wants Allegre, and my blood can burn in me like yours when he looks at her. Burns in me even now, and I can feel it. But how can I explain? If it came to dying, I don't trust my brain. My busy, treacherous, casuistic brain, presenting me with scientific facts and cunning reasons, separate from myself, separate from my will. It's a traitor brain, an acid eating away at all the faiths by which we live, questioning all the rules, leaving us naked, bare white animals without poetry or God.
But say these things.
I've lived with the worms so often, and ran away all the time that my mind is trained to find excuses, like a poacher's ferret underground, finding a war and sleeping with the bodies in the rabbit holes, and then forgetting the master above ground.
But if we ask too much, it's possible for a man to slip away and go to the west and hide in the shadow.
No, I wouldn't do that, and I couldn't do it. But could we all go together, or are we watched?
We're watched quite carefully.
Well, if you stay, then I must stay.
Then it won't come to dying. If we can only hold them off this evening, someone will find the evidence on the point, and Murillo will move on. Perhaps even tonight. The mullet fishermen are out at night this time of year.
What does your mind think traitorously underneath sometimes to betray you when you're in danger?
I can't tell you that.
Does it begin by saying that we live, all of us, on illusions? That we live and lay our lives down for things unsubstantial as a sunrise or a rainbow?
It begins like that, yes.
Then I have it too. It's not peculiar to a soldier out of Spain or even then who left the line against orders. It's all of us in this age of dying fires.
But do you wish to live by truth or by illusion?
By the truth, always by the truth.
But that's an illusion, because by the truth no man can live at all, even a day. And one by one the illusions wear themselves out.
I just came by to say that Kalani's leaving tomorrow, sort of shearing off. And Corky, too. So now it's permanent for the both of you, and you work tomorrow.
All right.
And it just so happens that you want to hear it from me, that I'm moving in here tonight, and you're moving out, sort of synchronized. If there are any objections, I want to hear them now. Oh, Are there any objections? Are you too good for the cabins?
No, sir.
No, sir? Hell, do you still think you're in the army, hombre? Well then, if there are no objections, then when do I move in? Because I go to bed early.
Look, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be dead. And I've got reasons for traveling under a name that's not my own. But I'm Alegre's brother. My name's Victor, and I'm back from Spain, and the only extra bed in this house is mine. And so I can't let you in here tonight with my sister, not without trouble. Now, you didn't know this. Nobody knew this. And I can't hold it against you. But a man's sister is his sister, and he's got a right to say, hands off.
I didn't know that. Well, if it's as you say, and you're Victor, and she's your sister, hell, I know how it is. I had sisters of my own. Nice girls. Went to school, got married, asked for money sometimes when I saw them, but not too much. Respectable girls. Where were you born?
In Alegre, Spain.
That's your sister's name?
Alegre, yes.
When did you come to this country?
In 24.
Where are your passports?
We had none. We came in through Cuba in South America.
And he's your brother?
Yes.
What's this young man's name?
Victor,
How tall is he?
5'8".
What's the color of his hair?
Black.
He's got a scar on his face. Where is it?
He had no scar when he left here.
What's the color of his eyes? You should have told him that before you lied to me. You're no more Victor than I am.
Julio, come out here a minute.
What for?
I said come out here a minute.
Listen, you give orders with your own money. Let me finish with them and then I'll talk to you.
Oh, that's all right, Julio. I can talk in here. Would you maybe like to know what we found today, Julio? Washed up on the bar with a gag in his mouth and tied with wire?
What?
The road gang boss. Been dead about 24 hours. Seems he was tangled with a crayfish line.
Who?
The boss of the road gang that disappeared yesterday. Oh, you might know the fellow, Murillo. I heard some talk. He was seen here gambling yesterday sometime, and there was some kind of quarrel over the game and a woman.
Not that I know of. I can't keep track who gambles.
Well, I wish you ever did it. It sunk him deep enough so he didn't come floating around to cause a stink. We've got a body, and it was certainly murdered. And when a man's working for the state and drawing checks, you can be damn sure he's got connections somewhere. Oh, there'll be an investigation, and it'll come to me. Why, they had to swear on extra deputies. And didn't I have enough to explain without explaining murder?
Well, don't look at me. It's not my murder.
I didn't say it was. All I said was, I wish whoever did it had sunk in deep enough so he didn't come floating up in my territory. Sam! Come in here, please.
Yes, sir.
Sam, take these three here and hold them on the porch. Lay all of them suspects. Go out on the porch, please. If you don't mind, stay right
I
here.
ain't going anywhere. You're serious?
You're damn right I'm serious.
But what for? You're not accusing me.
It's not my business to accuse anybody, mind you. But I'm supposed to make arrests of suspicious characters found in the scene of a crime.
Well, I hope that I'm not a suspicious character.
Get me right, Mr. Murillo. What I think about you or anybody here don't matter a damn. But if other people think that you should be arrested and I don't arrest you, then I begin to worry about my job. You have to hold the votes to get re-elected sheriff. And most of the time you can play along and it's easy. But when there's murder, you've got to watch your step. For they're watching you now. And they're watching me.
Then I shouldn't be here.
That's right, you shouldn't be here. When anything suspicious happens, you should track it innocent or guilty. For your own protection and mine. The trouble is, this stink is bigger than you are, and bigger than I am. And you are right here in my hands, and the deputies want to know who you are.
Then I gotta get out of here.
Oh, no, you're not going anywhere. Not now. But why you on in Alabama or Georgia gripes the hell out of me. You could have been there easy by now.
Well, I had something particular here.
Oh, yeah? Well, she must have been pretty.
Are you holding me up for money?
Look, son, if I take my hand away, you'll never get off this key. You won't get 50 yards. I wish I could get you out of this and into Cuba because you're around my neck. And you'll cross me up if you ever get in court.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, I would.
That for Christ's sake, pin this on somebody.
Who?
The Indians. The ones you saw this morning, the ones you were hunting. Where were they running to, and then where were they running from?
From their own gang, from the fellow that was killed.
Then, you stupid ass, they killed him and ran!
It does no good
whatsoever to pin suspicion on 2 runaways that we can't find. To get you out of this, I've got to arrest somebody. Now find those convicts, that's all I want. And I'll say they murdered him and escaped and it'll be perfect.
They were here?
But I couldn't find them this morning, I can't find them tonight.
They were here this morning.
They were, when?
Not about a half an hour ago.
Now look, boy, it all hangs on this if it's accurate.
Hell, Corky saw them, they came right into the house.
They came in?
Yeah, stayed about a half an hour.
By God, that gives us something.
Yes.
Yeah, that gives us something. Before I call them in, who's this boy?
Says his name's Victor. Says he's the old man's son. Says the leg raise his sister. Hell, that's just to get me out of the house.
It's all right. Let him say it. Let him say it, Victor.
All right.
Bring him on in, Sam, please. Sam, if you don't mind, keep a watch out there in the yard. There were 2 Negroes here this evening. What have you done with them? Where are they now?
There were 2 Indians here, no Negroes.
Well, just as you like. We'll call them Indians. Where are they now?
What do you want with them?
Well, just murder, that's all.
But they escaped 3 days ago and the murder occurred last night. It's impossible to connect them with it. Once they were free and away, why would they kill a guard?
Well, why did they come back? And what were they doing here? And just how much do you know about it, sister? You told me just this morning that you hadn't seen them.
This is this evening.
Yes, but I don't trust you. And there's one among you who was cited on a charge like this before. Your brother Victor, aiding a getaway. Is your name Victor? Yes, sir.
He said it was Victor not 10 minutes ago. It's a good name. He better keep it.
Yes. I'll remember that, too. Now I'm beginning to see a little daylight here. Now I think we're going to get somewhere. The Indians did the killing to get away. And Victor helped them. On that theory, he's an accessory and can be charged. So that's 1 in the bag.
He returned from Spain only this morning. The murder took place last night when he wasn't here.
And you told me just this morning that he was dead. So when and where he came and what he was doing when the murder happened, whenever that was, and I don't know yet when, that's all to be explained.
Then I'll explain it. You have no need for suspects because I know the murderer and what happened. The gambler Murillo, who sits there in that corner even now, where I can hear him breathe. This man Murillo, by God, I should have learned to shoot by ear. Surprised the road gang boss and the girl who's called Killarney. And struck him over the head. Tied him with wire from our clothesline. He made Killarney help him, and they dragged the body to the rowboat and towed it out into the Gulf some 50 yards or so, and loaded the pockets with stones, or so I judge, and let it sink.
God damn it, who told you that?
Told me? I knew so well where you had sunk that body that today in my direction it was fished to the surface, freed of weights, and floated to the bar below where it was found to use against you.
Damn it, I say, who told you that? But you cannot see. You're as blind as
He's
dirt.
drawing you out, you lucky. You followed a trap. Where did you get this story? Can you substantiate it?
I hear better than most men see.
You mean you heard all of that?
Heard it just as I said, and know what happened.
Oh, well, that's not evidence. Well, that could be manufactured by the yard and no check on it. Why, no court in Florida would take a blind man's word for a thing like that, and no court should. Not unless there's corroboration, and there isn't any.
But we know who's guilty.
Oh, do you, lady? Now, that's to prove in court, according to court rules. I'd like to hear some more of this story of yours. You said they fished the body up and set it afloat, and you told them where and how to find it. Who were they?
I can't tell you.
You don't know who they were?
Yes, I can't tell you.
Well, I think I know. From what I hear, there were 2 Indians here today. Is that right? And they fished the body up and set it afloat.
Yes.
Would they have some reason for wanting to involve Mr. Murillo here? Or do you have some reason?
Sir, I have some. I wanted to send his murderer home to him because he's fixed himself here on my house like a cancer on the heart.
Well, now that's a possible version. But I'll tell you what it'll sound like to a jury. It'll sound as if the Indians killed the foreman to get away, and then got scared and towed the body down to the doorstep of a man who had a quarrel with that foreman. And as if your son was in on it somehow, because you knew exactly where the body was sunk. And he was mixed up in a very similar business some years ago. Now that sounds like sense to me. How does it sound to you?
Like the lie it is, and you know it is.
Well, that's how it'll sound to any jury, I'll tell you. And the truth in court is what sounds like the truth in court, and not what happened. Not necessarily. Legal gun.
But he's not Victor, and he didn't help him, and they didn't kill the guard.
He said it was Victor. The rest they can argue.
But look what you're doing. Doesn't it matter who's guilty?
Oh, well, that comes into it. As a matter of fact, I'd much rather have the Indians than your brother here. And you know where the Indians are. So think it over. Maybe we can make a deal. Sam, come in here, please. Sam, the boy here under arrest. I'm going to search the house. Keep an eye on the room. Sit down.
God, it's hot in here. You know, if I didn't know that you were guilty, I'd know it by the way you sit, the way you speak, and the way that you turn your head.
I got a snake couldn't hide in this bungalow. Well, there's the back there to draw behind. What's that?
Letters.
And here's a picture of that bird that said his name was Victor. Or wasn't Victor. I forget what you said last. Maybe he is your brother. Either that or you've known him a damn long time. There's a date here on the picture, May 1936. Whose guns are they?
Mine.
Well, we'll give them back when the trouble's over. Sam, tell Mac to get organized on board the cutter. We have to do a little searching up and down the coast and along the beach there. I'm looking for 2 Indians. Good. Now here's my proposition. Tell me where the Indians are, and I'll let your brother go. Now you'll find my words as good as an honest man's. And it's a good bargain. Better than you'll get in court. I keep my word because if I didn't, I couldn't stay in business. But once you get in front of a district attorney's office, hell can't save you. So tell me where the Indians are, and I'll do without it.
They'd behave.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
Then why do you protect one man whom I won't name, who might be tried but evidently won't be?
Lady, I told you that I keep my word. If I keep my word to you, I have to keep it elsewhere.
You dare admit that?
Well, if I didn't, people would just laugh. That's just politics and government. I've been in politics here all my life. I don't like it myself, and I didn't invent it. But what you have to do is sell protection to the people that can pay, and then protect them the best you can.
Even from murder?
Well, no, not from murder. But if it comes down to murder, you give them what breaks you can.
You could be honest. You know that.
No, lady. I couldn't. It's been tried. You have to have a machine to stay in office. And nothing runs a machine but money. Now, I've never been off these keys. I've heard it said there's honest government elsewhere, here and there, but fits and starts. Maybe there is. I don't know. Well, I don't see how it could work. It might come in, but, well, it wouldn't last because it wouldn't be natural. There's a John Chinaman, runs the laundry down that Star Key. He says over in China, the same word that means to govern means to eat. Well, now, over in China, they got it worked out, see. The government eats you, but it protects you first. Because if it didn't, you wouldn't get fat enough to make good eating.
What if they knew about you?
Lady, they know. And nothing you could say would change a thing. So for your own good, and his, give me a line on those Indians, and from now on we'll be friends.
We've been dishonored by such a friendship.
Well, give me the information, and friends or not, I'll keep my word.
Look for them below the lower beach. Behind the mangroves. They sleep near there at night, and they were planning to catch the tide. It hasn't turned yet, and they'll be there still.
All right. Well, now I'm not supposed to go out of the house, so don't none of you try leaving. If I find the Indians, then we're all free and clear. If I don't, you've sent me on a cold trail. Then I'll be needing Victor. He really all comes with me.
But they'll still be there. You told them where they are. They won't be gone yet.
No.
You did this for me?
I can't let you go off and die for them, or send them to die for you. He'll bring them back here, and then you must choose.
Yes, he'll bring them back here. You'll stand them before me and you'll say, "Are these the men?"
Yes.
Will you say that? Could you say they are?
You say it. Yes, if you say they're guilty, then I'll say it too, but it must be your decision.
I choose to live then.
No one can choose for you.
What else should I choose? What else could be expected?
You'll do what you must. I've heard people do what's generous in danger. Save others first and then oneself.
Only it isn't a question of who's saved first. It's a question of which is saved. It's one or the other, but it's not both. There has to be a scapegoat. And either the Indians pay for Murillo's fun or I pay for it.
Yes.
But what you're saying is I should strike an attitude of what the hell and walk off quietly to a death on the gallows to save 2 drones from a reservation?
No, I haven't said that. But can you stand face to face with 2 innocent fugitives and stand there silent and load them with a crime to save yourself? How could one do it and live? Would you wish to go on after they were gone?
How else could I live?
Any way that squares with what a man waking in the night may think of himself and not want to die before morning.
But no way squares. No way I could possibly think of squares with the rules. You're thinking of the old rules, the ancient code established by the knights in the Middle Ages. But man doesn't live by faith or honor or justice. Nah, that's revoked. He lives as he can, as the animal he is. Because it's impossible to arrange a life by these fantastic, inexcusable rules. Look at these laws of chivalry as they're laid upon my soul tonight. Half an hour ago, I'm asked to die to protect the right of a woman to see the man she'll have. All right, that I can die for. That's understandable. But now I'm asked to forget about you because that's less important. And instead die for 2 Indians out on the beach I don't even know. Meanwhile, leaving the woman to the mercy of the same scoundrel it was my job to save her from before. Isn't it a question whether I'm more useful here and alive and trying at least to ward off Murillo?
But we cannot choose either you or I to purchase your safety or mine by offering up those 2 poor wandering children to Murillo and his sheriff. We simply can't, whatever happens.
Whatever happens. Have you envisioned that?
I have a revolver and I can use it.
And would you?
Do you doubt it?
Then we both die as a sacrifice to the rules. Oh, geez, it would be something to know who it is arranges these little ironies. I came here running from a civil war where madmen and morons tore a continent apart to share it. Where death and rape were common as flies on a dead soldier, and alien men grew weary of native women. I ran from that storm of death and murder because I couldn't help, because nobody could help. And I wanted at least to save my life in any crawling way. But the great master of the laboratory with spectacles on nose drives me here to this bloody war where I have to choose again between death and the rape of a woman, between death and the murder of innocent men. I made my choice long ago and ran and left them bleeding there in that field, and I say it's better to live. If one can live alone in the Everglades and fill his stomach with fish and sleep at night, and let the dead bury their dead. Because there's no faith, sure. No love of man or love of woman that won't dry up in the end if the drought lasts long enough. There's no better than you among all women. And yet when your mind envisioned the choice between Murillo and your death, there was a flash when your mind asked itself, must it be death? Is even the man Murillo worse than death? And if you can ask the question, then there's more than one answer.
How could you know that?
Because the mind, the bright, quick, silver mind, has but one purpose, to defend the body and ward off death. Because it's the law of Earth, where life was built up from the very first on death and murder, where the female takes what she gets and learns to love it, must learn to love it or the race would die. Show me one thing secure among these names of virtues, justice and honor and friendship and love, and I'll die for it, gladly. But where's justice? Where's honor? Where's friendship? And what's love under the rose?
Then you've never loved.
Not as you've loved, perhaps, for you assume that it's forever. Whereas I've known and know that it's till the fire burns down. Till the stimulant of something new or something stolen's gone. Till you know all the intimate details and the girls with child and cries. And if it's true of love, then it's true of all the illusions. All the doors of all the illusions. And one by one we all jump at them. We jump first at the door with Christ upon it, hanging on the cross. And then at the door with Lenin, legislating heaven. And then the emblem of Social Security, representing $18 a week, good jobs, bad times, doesn't matter. And then we jump at the black triangle door, the door of the girl expectant. And they all give meaning to life. They all give mental sustenance. But there comes a day when there is no sustenance. And you jump! And there's nothing you want to buy with money. And Christ hangs dead on the cross as all men die, and Lenin legislates a fake paradise, and that girl holds out her arms to you and she's made of sawdust, and there's sawdust in your mouth.
But if this were true, then how could one live? Woman or man or beast or grub in the dark?
To eat and sleep and breed and creep in the forest.
Answer him, Father. Answer him, because it sounds like truth, but if it were true, one couldn't live. There is something in women that is, as he says, and there's something in men that merely wants to live, but answer him, because we're not like this.
Why, girl? We're all alone. You're on the surface of this turning sphere of earth and water, cutting a great circle round the sun, just as the sun cuts a great circle round the central hub of some great constellation, which in turn wheels round another. Where this voyage started, we don't know, nor where it will end, nor whether it has a meaning, or whether there's good or evil, or whether man has a destiny, or happened here by chemical accident. All this, we don't know. Yet, somehow or other, in some obscure way, it's the love of woman for man, and a certain freedom in her love to choose tomorrow's men. And the leverage in the interplay of choice among men and women that's brought us here to this forking of the roads, and may take us farther on.
And where are we going?
To a conquest of all there is, whatever there is among the suns and stars.
And what if it's empty? What if it's all just empty here in space, like a vast merry-go-round of eyeless gods turning without resistance? Jupiter and Saturn, Mars, Mercury, and Venus, carved out of rock and trailed with cloud and mist, but nothing. And in all the constellations, no meaning anywhere. Nothing. Then if man gets up and makes himself a god and walks alone among these limitless tensions of the skies and finds that he's eternally alone and can mean nothing, then what was the use of it? Why climb so high? Why set ourselves apart to look out on a plate of skulls?
Now you want to know what will come of us all, and I don't know that. Over and over again, the human race climbs up out of the mud and looks around and finds that it's alone here. And the knowledge hits it like a blight, and it climbs back down into the mud again. Over and over again, we have a hope and turn it into a religion and follow it up till we're on the topmost limb of the tallest tree, alone with our stars. We don't dare to be there and climb back down again. But it won't end in the dark. Our destiny's the other way. Someday there'll be a race of men who can face even the stars without despair and think without going mad. The boats are at the point. Can you see them yet?
Yes, I see flashlights playing along the beach. They're back, and they'll be here soon. Why is my picture here?
It was Victor's, and he left it for me. Let me have it.
No, there's something written beneath. May I read it?
If you like.
Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love which alters when alteration finds or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no,
It is an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not within his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out, even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. I learned that once in school a long time ago, and it still stays with me. But why is it written here?
I wrote it there.
3 years ago?
One spring when I felt most alone. The spring when Victor first went away, I wrote it then. But not because I was in love. It was much more than a love, it was a worship. And I had a ritual I said before it for matins in the morning and vespers before I went to bed. He talked about you. You were the singing hero of their venture out into the world, the leader of this great crusade to make over the face of things. It was on your face, this brightness of the future. And it's on your face there yet, on the picture in your hand.
Have I changed that much?
You've changed.
And all that happened 3 years ago in the spring.
It happened in the spring and lasted till this morning.
You said you loved someone who died in Spain.
You died in Spain. And now I see that all you say is true and the poem is rhetoric. For love does alter when it alteration finds. Or I'd love you still.
Yes, I did die in Spain. And maybe this is what I came here looking for. I came a long way to get it, and I tried to stay away. But now that I have it, I'll know what to do. And yet, it's unfair somehow.
Is it unfair?
Yes. Because it doesn't come to us all. It comes to many in certain generations, but only to a few in others. And it says, if you want to live, you must die now, this instant, or the food you eat will rot at your lips, and the lips you kiss will turn to stone. And the very ground you tread will curl up underneath your footstep like a snake and hiss behind you. Yet if you're chosen out, or choose yourself out, and go out to die, you die forever after, and that's farther away than you can say in light years. And the thing you die for is farther away than that. You die to bring about a race of men who will walk the heavens on a rope of sines and cosines, operating on the womb of night with a long, sharp equation. And it's no fun to perish in your own person when you're young for this remote eventuality, even if it were attractive, which it's not. And so in the last analysis, one dies. Because it's part of the bargain you agree to when you agree to live. A man must die for what he believes if he's unfortunate enough to face it in his time. And if he won't, then he'll end up believing in nothing at all, and that is that too.
Well, get them on in now.
And they brought the Indians with them. And so, this part of it may be settled. I'm sorry, sir. This wasn't our intention.
No doubt. No doubt. The white man gives. The white man takes away. Blessed be the name of the white man. You keep your bargains to the letter, man, and I'll do the same for you. It seems the Indians were getting ready to move on tonight. We got there just in time. So your friend or your brother or whoever he is can sleep here in the house tonight. Oh, here's your weapon. But what you're doing with a pistol like that, I wouldn't know. That thing's liable to break your wrist if you ever shoot it.
It was my brother's.
Yes. And you won't need it now.
I've heard some rumors. There's been some arguments and going on here between Murillo and the people of the house. And well, I mention it because we're all here and listening. I just want to say, forget it. Now, there's one thing that no business can afford to have, and that's trouble with the authorities. There's been murder here on the point, but I'm happy to say that it was nobody here locally. We've caught the likely suspects, and so the thing to do is to forget about whatever quarrel that was and get back to work. Now, I'll be watching from now on and listening to reports. And I want to hear that everything is peaceful here on Key Largo and doing business as usual.
Are we to understand that these two Indians are in custody and charged with the murder?
Well, it looks as if they did it, so they under arrest and you are discharged.
Well, thank you, Sheriff. I'm only sorry I was silent while you went out to hunt the Indians. I couldn't bring myself to face what I'd done and take the consequence. I thought, what the hell, 2 Indians, let them die, and nobody knows I'm guilty, so it won't matter. But now I see their faces. I can't let them die for me.
Well, what are you guilty of?
I murdered the foreman. They don't know anything about it. I did it alone.
The boy is crazy.
Oh, no, I'm not. No, I think I know why you say so, and I thank you, ma'am. Still in all, I'm guilty. And confession is difficult at first, but once you get it started, there's a kind of relief, a kind of satisfaction in getting it over. I can recommend it to anybody here who goes about with an old crime searing his soul. Maybe even Mr. Murillo has something on his conscience. If you have, get it off. You'll feel better.
He is crazy.
Now look, boy, if you keep on, I'm going to have to arrest you, so keep your mouth shut.
You'll arrest me naturally and let the Indians go, since I'm confessing the crime and without accomplices.
Very well. This is on the level?
Yes, I think so.
And let me point out my advantage as a defendant. I'll make a good witness. I'll convict myself. Whereas the Indians would probably protest their innocence, being innocent as they are. So I recommend they be set free as soon as possible.
Oh, no. They're wanted as runaways.
They make 4 witnesses. They have another theory of this crime, as you probably know. And let's spare Mr. Murillo any unnecessary mention, huh?
Get the Indians out of here. They know too much.
All right.
Get them out. Now.
But, now take the cuffs off, son. Let them go. And now you're sure you want this? Well, there are witnesses here. They've heard what you said.
I'm certain of it, sir.
Well, very well, Sam. Let them go.
You know what they would have said if they'd been allowed to talk? They would have said that Murillo did it. Murillo there, who wouldn't injure a flower or step on your hand. He's so chicken-hearted. By God, yes, they'd have accused him. Well, we played a game this morning, Adam Smasher, and it seems to me you won.
Get that gun away from now.
Wait, hold on. This guy's crazy. He wants to kill me.
Yes, I do, and if anybody jumps at me, you're done. Because the trigger on this thing is as tender as young love.
Be careful.
I think you said this morning you weren't afraid to die, but what you meant was you knew I didn't have the guts to shoot you, and you're right, I didn't. Only tonight I have. And strangely enough, it's the other way around, and I'm not afraid to die.
What are you trying to do, boy?
Eric, once in 1,000 years, a mortal man gets the same chance twice. Where we stood this morning, we stand now again. Give us elbow room. And now, my friend, let me begin by saying that we won't either of us emerge from this predicament. This is the end for you and me. Black curtains in the end, as sure as you're a gambler. To save my soul, I gotta get rid of you. And if you're let go, you'll certainly want me to along.
Listen, boy. Listen. I know when I'm licked, okay? So put down your gun, and then I'll put down mine. Be careful.
No. What I want now is that you back out gently, putting out your hand behind you so you don't stumble and die before your time. And then we'll climb together into your car. You first. Always this gun on your belly, and then we'll die. And just for starters, let me say that for sheer unadulterated pleasure to the heart, for the kind of happiness inside that almost makes you weep, this game of yours is tops with me. I thank you, Murillo, from my teeth, for appearing out of that hell, which is probably your home, for treating me okay.
No! Damn you, were you crazy? I had to do it!
You had to do it. I counted on you. I knew you couldn't stand it. I knew you must be shooting. Still in all, you might have to do it again. That first wasn't enough.
Get those Indians before they get away. Oh, wait. Hell, I can't use them now.
Oh, hell, now that Murillo's gone, it doesn't matter where they were or were, Sheriff. Let the Indians go. Give them a chance at their happy hunting ground. They've waited long enough for it.
King, I was wrong. You didn't have to die.
Oh, is this dying a letter? Then it is more enviable than the Everglades. To fight where you can win in a narrow room, and to win dying.
Where's he, Hunter? Get him down here flat so he don't lose blood.
Oh, no. Let me sit down. Sit down and look him in the face. Whoever he is. When they bury an Indian, they bury him seated upright. With his weapons around him. And that's very sensible. Very sensible.
Well, you can't be sorry for a man that planned it, and it all worked out. He got just what he wanted. Just for the record, sir, this was your son?
Yes. He was my son.